All right. What up? What up? Overdrive community. We're going to get this thing rolling. Maybe let's give it a couple minutes for some people to join in right now. Overdrive. Oh, community. Pause that. For people that are already on this live call, why don't you guys go ahead and you guys comment Overdrive 24/7 Overdrive. If you're on the live call right now, show up, comment 24/7 Overdrive. If you guys just joined the community, the first thing before we get rocking and rolling, first thing I want you guys to do is check your email, because everybody that automatically joined, you guys should get an automatic email. Not only your receipt, but membership area link. Nice. Honest, what's up? Joseph, what up? Aaron, what up? Blonde Majesty, what up? And you guys should get a membership area link. So go ahead and create your own membership account, which is you're going to have exclusive access to every single live call that we do. And you're going to also get a bonus video every single week. So if you're watching this and it's past Tuesday, May 28th, this call is going to be uploaded and thrown into that platform as well. And you guys will have all your summary notes there, and everything will be in one central system. We're actually going to be moving platforms in about a month from now as well. In that email as well, there's also going to be a private Facebook community link, which everybody should be joining right now. We got to have about 100 members in there right now. So if you haven't yet, request to join. Myself, Josh, Shun, or Ryan will accept you into the group. Over there, you guys can find all the updates on everything that we're doing, whether it's an event, whether it's a live call, whether it's some new notes, new scripts, PDFs, resources, everything should be in there. And we're actually going to be sending you guys out a form later on tonight to fill out, so we can get some more information. We want to know a little bit about more about what you guys do and what you guys are up to. But anyhow, I want to dive right into it. I want to save your guys time. Hopefully everybody has notes tonight. I always say, note takers are money makers. So if you don't, grab a notepad, grab some pen, because tonight we have one of the founders of 24/7 Overdrive, the founder and CEO of Break Free Academy. One of my coaches, one of my mentors, one of Josh's coaches, one of Josh's mentors as well. So I have the pleasure to introduce Mr. Hardcore Closer, Ryan Stewman. If you guys haven't met him, Ryan, say what up.
What's up, everybody? All right, so I think this is what you got to do. I think you have to hover over. Did that pull up my picture on here? You have to hover over my picture and click on it, and then I think everybody can actually see me.
Now, are you good?
Yeah, can you guys see me? Leave a comment down there. I can't see the comments, but you can, Daniel.
Just go.
But want to make sure that you don't sit there with like a deer in the headlights looking your face while I'm talking, right?
No, you're good. Now we can.
You good? All right, perfect.
Hear you loud here. Ryan, give a little background about yourself for the people that are just joining in the community. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I'm really excited that you guys are here. Daniel and Josh and I have put in a lot behind the scenes to make all this happen. And I'm known as kind of a guy that sells a higher ticket product. And so it took a lot of hardcore closing on Daniel and Josh's part to get me to start this community for $24. You know what I mean? And you guys have no idea the amount of value that you're going to get, even if this was $2,470. So just to put that in perspective with you, but we're excited that you're here. And this is like our inaugural night. Like, this is our very first thing to do here. And you get to be a part of this. That makes you a founding member of this movement, because this isn't just some other course or training program. This is a community. This is a movement. This is all of us working together to help bring business to each other, to help grow our brands, to help be a syndicate for the betterment of all of our businesses and really our lives too. And I'm just excited that you guys are the early adopters that decided to jump on this early. As far as me, for those of you that don't know, I'm a little bit of everything. I started off my professional career as a car wash salesman. And while that sounds like kind of a shitty job, and it is by all means, just let's don't confuse that fact. It was a very shitty job. I did get a lot of sales experience there, because on any given Saturday, there might be 1,200 opportunities for me to upsell a car wash. So I got in to the outside world, it looked like I just sold car washes. But to now looking back at it, I was dealing with inbound face-to-face leads all day, every day that I was simply upselling. And I got really good at that process and really good at pitching things. And one day was offered by one of the clients at that car wash a job in the banking industry. At that time, I'm pretty sure I didn't even have a checking account. So I had no idea what the hell was going on in the banking industry. But the lady that hired me closed me with this saying. She said, well, they'll always take you back here at the car wash. This is your one shot to become a banker. I thought, well, damn, that's pretty true. Within working in the bank for about 45 days, I'd already made almost $30,000 in my life. It changed. It used to take me a whole year of selling car washes to do what I did in about 2 months. And this was in the early 2000s. By 2005, I'd go on at 26 years old to make almost $1 million in a year. And then life would slap me in the face for really, not the first time, but the hardest time. And I ended up going and getting in trouble for some firearms that I shouldn't have had, and ended up getting sentenced to prison for 2 years. And I had to do damn near all of it, and walked into prison a millionaire and a banker. And I walked out divorced, broke, and homeless with $25 to my name. And that was in 2008. Well, here we are, flash forward in 2019, and just know that I'm a hell of a fighter and fought a hell of a journey to get back where we are now. But I'm a multi-8-figure net worth individual with several very large businesses that I run. I have some of the largest events in the industry, 10 best-selling books that I've written. I've got one of the most popular blogs on the internet, regularly featured in Forbes. I've got a beautiful family, beautiful wife, 3 great kids. The exotic cars that are on, that were on my walls growing up when I was a kid. I live in a mansion, and it's all been because of sales. And these days I'm more than just a salesman. But when I got out of prison, the one thing that was there for me, it wasn't my parents, it wasn't a friend, it wasn't a rich homeboy or Richie Rich's uncle or any of that shit. It was the fucking sales was there for me. And sales said, you know what? We're not going to judge you. If you can come in here and make money, we're all created equal in this field. And in 2010, when I had to make a career change, sales was the one thing, again, with its arms open to me, that said, you know what? We're not going to judge you. We're not worried about your deal. Just come on in here. And if you can make money, we're going to treat you like everybody else. And so I'm very passionate about the sales community, just like Daniel is, because it's been the one thing that was there for me as a guy that's been adopted and incarcerated and divorced and everything else. I've got a lot of things that have abandoned me and left me hanging in my life. And sales is the one thing that's always been there and been that huge lever for me to get back to where I wanted in life. So,
right. What were you selling again?
Mortgages in up till 2010. So as soon as I got out of prison, I went back to the mortgage industry. And in 2010, Obama passed a law, whereas if you were a convicted felon, you can no longer originate mortgages. But in 2009, just to give you some perspective, in 2009, it was the worst year in modern history to originate mortgages. I mean, companies were going out of business. People were jumping off of buildings, committing suicide on Wall Street. And shit, I was making a bunch of money, dude. I closed 183 loans. We were dominating the industry. My whole theory was, like, if you were leaving the business, why don't you just give me your clients, right? You're not going to take care of them. You're not going to sell them shit. So I started targeting all the people that were leaving the industry and getting their book of business, and blew the damn thing up. So it was actually a good year for me.
You were like dominating the space while people were leaving the space. Interesting.
Yep.
So if many of you guys don't know, Ryan, myself, and Josh, we're actually headed on a tour during the summer. It's going to be called the X Tour. But before that, we held some pop-up events. So we had an event in Newport Beach. We had an event in Arizona. We had an event. Where's the other event? We had Newport Beach, Arizona. What was the other one? And Dallas. And
Miami.
Dallas. Yeah. So those were the 3 pop-up events that we held. And then I was sitting down at one event. And what I wanted to bring up on this call is Ryan brought up something called Power Moves. So we were on a panel together, and I think Ryan was doing a keynote. And during his keynote, he brought up something called Power Moves, and it really struck with me. So I wanted to kind of set the pace off for everybody in 24/7 Overdrive in this community to really understand what it is, because I think in any single industry that they're in, whether it's fucking e-commerce, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, entrepreneurs, no matter what industry, whether they're in PR, whatever kind of code you're trying to crack, I think this was a huge fucking concept that you have going on. So I want you to kind of give the background of what are Power Moves, because you have this whole thing behind Power Moves. What is it?
Cool. Well, I'll just give you the rundown, because you're right. It's going to be very important for our community to understand this. It's going to be one of the foundational teachings of this whole process. So I'm going to give you a lesson in physics, and I am not a teacher, despite the fancy glasses here. I'm not a teacher by nature of physics, and I don't have a degree in the shit or anything else, as you can imagine. We'll leave that to like the NASA engineers and smart people of the world. But I have this one serious talent. I think this is what's made me as successful as I am at this point. And that talent is taking big, complex, complicated things out here that operate on our planet, in our system and everything else, and making it super simple. And so I'm going to take this huge physics concept called power versus force. There's many books that have been written on it, and I'm going to make it very simple so that you can apply it in your life, your business, and your work. So first of all, most of us live a life by force. And if you think about force is something that is immediate. If I have this right here and I push it, which is a force, eventually it falls. That's immediate, right? But if I sit this on my hand and I say, I'm going to power this with my mind, first of all, it's going to take a while before that thing moves, right? And it might take a long time. I might have to I don't know. I've never moved shit with my mind, but let's suppose I could do that. I might have to concentrate on this thing for an entire year without blinking in order for me to generate enough power to make that move. But when it moved, it'd be pretty damn cool, right? Well, so here's what most people do. They want that immediate response in their life over and over and over again, so they continue to make forced moves. They force somebody to like them. They force somebody to be their friend. They force somebody to marry them. They force somebody to go out on a date with them. They force their prospects to do business with them. They force their business partners to join up with them. They go around forcing everything in their life. And by force, I mean you're making something happen in real time. Now, while it's effective, it's like you're persuading and making something happen that maybe otherwise they might have been cautious or resistant to. And so a lot of salespeople, we are guilty of force, especially, I know this sounds weird coming from a guy that has the nickname, the hardcore closer, but just hear me out here. A lot of us use those hardcore closer techniques, which is a forceful way of selling, in expectation that we can close and change somebody's mind. We see car salesmen do it all the time. Somebody walks into the dealership, they snatch their keys and won't let them go and try to make them get a decision, and then make them spend 2 hours in finance and all the other shit that we see, right? We see people trying to force things to happen over and over again. And here's the reason why people get addicted to force, because like I said, it's immediate. Okay. But here's the opposite side of that. And when you get on the other side, which is power, right? It takes a little bit longer to become powerful, but power attracts. Where force, you've got to go out and make things happen. Power attracts the things that need to happen to you. Now, this is not to be confused with like the hokey law of attraction, which I believe in, but we're not going to get into all of that. It's about making specific moves that generate the power to attract those people. Let's think about how power attracts, right? If you're a king, you're a powerful person, you attract loyal servants, right? If you're a president, you're a powerful person, you attract citizens and armies and soldiers that are ready to die and fight and do whatever it takes for you, right? If you are a CEO, you attract employees, leaders, managers, and a board of directors that are willing to do whatever it takes for the betterment of your leadership skills, right? But it takes a while to generate that power. Okay, so if we think about it, what's the most powerful thing that we can really think of, right? To me, it would be the sun. And if you feel like the sun powers everything on this planet, actually, I saw Neil Tyson Degrassi today. If you go over to his Instagram, he has simultaneous sunsets on Mars and Earth. And dude, we definitely have a better sunset on Earth, man. But it was a pretty cool thing, right? But the sun's powerful enough to where it's powering multiple planets. But in order for the sun to be as powerful as it is today, it took 4.6 billion years. The reason why I share that with you is because power takes time. So many people don't have patience, so they go out and they try to force everything to happen, and they consistently run this forced pattern, and it keeps them from getting on a powerful side of life. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some power moves that you can use in your business to where you can stop forcing things to happen. Some examples of forcing things to happen would be door knocking, cold calling, spamming, sending out blast emails from people that don't want them, sending out mass mailers of people who have no intention of opening or reading or buying your shit, right? Those are forced moves. Like It's 2019. If someone calls me that I don't know, I don't answer. If your number's not my hell, I love the shit out of Daniel, and I don't answer half of his calls, right? And he's one of my best friends and business partners, and I really like talking to him, and I still don't have time to answer him, and he's programmed into my phone. So let alone if someone's a cold caller, and according to AT&T, 94% of all phone calls go unanswered. That means your mom, your wife, your cousin, your brother, your sister, the people that you love the most call you and you don't answer, let alone somebody that's out there trying to make sales, cold calling and hoping they can A, get you on the phone, B, change your mind, and C, collect a credit card or a check or a payment or whatever. Dude, like in 1980, that was a high probability that you could make a sale. In 2019, that is the least effective, most forced way that you can make a sale. Same thing. In just 20 years ago, if somebody knocked on your door, you got excited. You're like, oh, shoot, we got company. Somebody came to see us, right? If somebody were to knock on my door right now, I'd go get my gun, right? Who the hell is over here, right? Like, it's just not I'm not expecting anybody. What the hell's going on in here, right? Like, that's just how it works these days. And so things have changed. A lot of salespeople will say, well, the market's changed, but I can still force it to do things the way that I want it to do. You can't. You got to get on the power side of life. So let's talk about a power move in sales, right? Instead of door knocking, you have the ability and trying to get, or let's say instead of cold calling and trying to get past the gatekeeper, why not set up a podcast? Right? You can go and do it absolutely free. You can get an app on your phone called the Anchor app, ANCHOR, anchor.fm. And all you have to do is talk the podcast into your phone, just like this. You're just doing a podcast, recording it into your phone as if it's a voice memo, and it uploads it into the interwebs and turns it onto a podcast. So why is that a power move? Well, first of all, imagine this. You call the CEO of the company that you want to deal with, and the gatekeeper answers. John Smith's office, how may I help you? Right? The traditional way. Yes, I'm calling with Break Free Academy, and I'd like to talk to John about improving his mindset skill when it comes to running a business. Hello, right? They hung the fuck up on you, right? Immediately you're noted as a salesman. Second scenario, hello, John Smith's office. Hey, yes, I'm Ryan Stewman, host of the Break Free Academy podcast, and I'm a huge fan of what you guys are doing in the marketplace. I think your CEO, Daniel, is an amazing person. He's running an awesome business, and I'd love to bring you guys on my show and interview you so that you can get the exposure you deserve in the marketplace. I think my audience will absolutely love you. Then all of a sudden the gatekeeper's like, shit, hold please, let me put you through. So then all of a sudden you talk to the CEO. Now the tendency for most salespeople is to go back to forcing things to happen. All right, I beat the gatekeeper, now let me browbeat the CEO into doing business with me. Stick to the plan, invite, because power takes time. Right? Stick to the plan, invite the CEO onto the podcast, spend the first 5 or 10 minutes prepping the CEO on how it's going to happen, how long it's going to last, what kind of questions you're going to ask, and get to know them a little bit. Then go through the interview process. After it's over with, then ask them if they would like to, if you could stop by or if they can meet up with you or talk to them a little bit about what you do for a living, right? But once you've got in front of them, given them some exposure, interviewed them on a podcast, then you don't hardcore close them, but just drop a little subtle, here's what I do for a living. We should talk about this in the future. 2 or 3 days later, you publish the podcast. You go back to the CEO and you say, here's the published podcast. I shared it on Facebook, and you start another conversation with them. If you still haven't been able to meet up with them, you wait another couple weeks and you say, hey, we're getting a lot of good feedback on this podcast. I'd really like to sit down with you and show you the power of what we're doing, right? But those are power moves, right? That podcast. Think about that. Cold calls versus a podcast. Who's a cooler person, right? What do you do for a living? I'm a cold caller. What do you do for a living? Oh, I got a podcast. Well, that's pretty fucking cool, right? That's a power move. The perception's different. Right. The next thing that you can do is the best when it comes to, especially online these days, what's better than talking about yourself is having someone else talk about you. And so another power move is to get press releases, right? To get public relations, get PR on yourself. And I've been featured in Entrepreneur, Forbes, Huffington Post. I mean, you name it, I've been in it. There is a website, Haro, HARO.com. Let me show you what this, let me pull it up here and I will show you. Help a reporter out. Hang on, I will show you on my screen here so you can see exactly what this looks like here. You guys should see the Helper Reporter, right? So this is the website you want to go to, helperreporter.com. All you have to do right here is sign up as a source. It's absolutely free. You just register, and subscribe on this thing. It's super freaking easy. Super easy. And it's absolutely free. They want zero money from you. You go in there, they send you an email every day. You take a couple minutes, and here, let me go back in here and I'll even show you how to do this. It's so ridiculously easy. They want it to be easy for you so that you'll use it, right? So if we go over here to my Gmail, they send you a couple emails every day. So if we go here to Haro, pull it up, come on. There we go. So here's this evening's. So here is the different things that you have. It's asking you these questions. So I go to business and finance. It says need sources for story about financial debt on parents. I click it. It says I'm writing a story about common financial debt among parents, particularly those who have a few kids. All I've got to do right here is click this, and then I can email them. Right now, obviously I would write something a little bit better than that, but that's all I've got to do is just write 2 or 3 sentences right here and send it to them. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Google Alerts, and I'm going to set an alert for my name, which just right here, right? So you can see every time somebody mentions me that I'm going to get an email from Google Alerts. Let me go right here. Because Haro is not going to tell you when someone mentions you, but you'll get an email that looks just like this. Where's it at? Boom, Google Alert, Ryan Stewman, and it'll tell you what it's about, okay? So the way to go to Haro is just go over there, you sign up as a source every day, take a couple of minutes, and respond to a few of those clicks in that email. Here's what happens. You'll start getting Google Alerts 3, 4, 5 months from now where you've been published. And guess what happens? Some of those publications are huge, and they get syndicated by a shitload of other sites. So you might get one article on Forbes, or you might get one article on the local news channel, and then all these Chinese and British and European and Russian websites syndicate you for SEO purposes because the big channels use that stuff. And the next thing you know, your name is out all over the place, and all you did was simply reply to some emails. So think about that. You're going into the marketplace, you got a podcast, you got press release. Think about the power behind that. What would the next thing be, right? You need to get yourself a sales funnel, right? Because if you have a podcast, you need to be able to advertise something on the podcast, a way to collect information from the listeners. That's a power move, building an email list, right? So I recommend going over to phonesites.com. You can sign up for a free trial, give you 14 days free trial. But that system allows you to advertise a URL. So you can say ryanstewman.com. Hey, if you'd like a free book, go over to elevatortothetop.com. They go over to elevatortothetop.com, they opt in, and then they can order the book, the free book right there. And so you can do the same thing with Phone Sites. It's the easiest, fastest way to build that. So that when you're on the podcast, you can say, and by the way, if you like this, you want to get the show notes, go and opt in over at phonesites.ryanstewman.com or whatever URL that you decide to use. But you need to be able to collect data, because here's the thing, it's 2019. The world's most valuable resource, a power move, is data. It's no longer oil. For a century now, the world's most valuable resource has been oil. Now it's data. Why? Because Amazon has figured out how to monetize data at a million times the speed that Exxon figured out how to monetize, drill, and transport oil. Okay, right. So let's just be real. Facebook, they have a $400 billion market cap, all because of data. A free website, all because of data. Same thing with Alphabet. They have a $600 billion market cap, all because of data, right? The richest companies in the world, Apple, Microsoft, the richest companies in the world are rich because of data. If your company does not start collecting data now, what's going to happen is you're going to be in big trouble come 10 years from now when Amazon moves into your marketplace. If Amazon moves into the online education or the software business, I'm in deep shit if I don't have a list, because I need a list of data, because that's an asset. And if it's a valuable resource, I can just sell that list to Amazon on my way out, right? Because if you can't beat them, you might as well join them. So I might as well sell my book of business instead of trying to fight them. So that's another power move. And so here's what I want you guys to do as a part of this community is start making power moves. I want you to ask yourself on a regular basis, when you're doing something trying to make money, when you're doing something trying to network, trying to strike up a relationship, even trying to find a significant other, ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now forcing things to happen? Or is what I'm doing right now a power move? Because listen, nobody's going to listen to your podcast at first. Nobody listened to Andy Frisella's podcast at first. Nobody listened to my podcast at first. But after a couple of years, that power starts to build, man. And now I get 150,000 people per episode per month that listen to my podcast right now. And I've been doing it since 2011. So it took a while, but the snowball effect of power definitely adds up. So the key thing about power is, again, it takes a long time and it takes a while to generate. So most people, they do something, they don't get famous, they don't get rich, it doesn't blow up overnight, and they quit. A person that's making power moves stays consistent because they understand the amount of time it takes to generate a massive amount of power, which is what we need to make huge market moves out there.
I love that. Yeah. I always say, Ryan, that's sort of my philosophy. Where I'm like, you want to become attractive in business and you want to be the hunted and not the hunter. So 2 years down the road, as you start making all these power moves, now you're the hunted. Now people are like, wait, how do I get on Ryan's podcast? I want to get on Ryan's podcast. It's much more attractive. You are now being hunted instead of being like, beg. Now the CEO is like, yeah, I want to get on a show. Now people are like, yeah, I want to get on Ryan's show. You're collecting data. So everything falls into, so I want to give these guys maybe 3 different tasks, and I want them to sort of email us back and go into our private group. Number 1, I want to see how many people, like starting tomorrow, I want everybody to go start that Anchor app. So it's Anchor, and launch a podcast no matter what industry you're in, or do the PR, which is haro.com, correct, Ryan?
It's helpareporter.com.
Helpareporter.com. And then the other one was Phone Sites, which actually Ryan is the founder and owner of. So Ryan can actually post a link inside of our Facebook group. I know we all use it. It's fucking absolutely amazing. It's so fucking friendly as well. Like, you guys, like, how easy is it, Ryan, to set up a funnel under Phone Sites?
5 minutes with no training. Like, literally the first time you log in, 5 minutes later, you got a website. It's that easy.
Okay, everybody, if you guys don't have a site, if you guys aren't using a funnel, go sign up for it. I'm going to post the link in the private Campfire community. So go sign up for it. Again, collecting data, like you will not hit one of our sites, myself, Ryan's, or Josh's, if we're not fucking collecting your data. Like, there's always an ask reward balance. If I'm giving you something, whether it's a book, whether it's a podcast, a free video, free information, a free download, I want something in return. I'm going to ask you for something in return, whether it's name, email, phone number, to use now, to use in the future. Fuck, imagine Instagram decides to shut down Josh, Ryan, and Daniel. Okay, most people would be fucked up and they'd be like, holy shit, my Instagram's gone, blah, 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 blah. So those people weren't planning for 5 years to something that happens. Who knows what happens? However, myself, between Ryan, I know Ryan's list is probably over like 250,000 people, between myself, Ryan, and Josh having over 500 million people on our subscriber list, or sorry, 500,000 people on our subscriber list on email, that people that rolled with us for the last 2.5 years, which is data, which we know how to attack them and stuff like this, and we've been warming them up. If Instagram ever decides to shut down using something like Phone Sites, ClickFunnels, something, we have all their data and we could basically email them, warm outreach. Hey, listen, we're starting a new platform. This is where you can reach us. So if you guys don't have that, go under that 24/7 Campfire community, and we'll post the links there. Anything else, Ryan, that you want to wrap it off with?
Yeah, I want to say this to finish up with everybody, and I want you guys to really get this, okay? Because we're about to be doing life together, right? This shouldn't be a program where you just pop in and you pay $24 and you're like, oh, I'm just checking it out, right? And you get the fuck out of here. That's not what this is about. This is us rolling together as a network. Well, just day one right here, the inaugural meeting that we're doing, let me just give you the biggest amount of value that you will ever find in any network ever, okay? So right now we have about 300 people on day one that have joined this Campfire community, okay? Let's just say that 1/3 of you guys are action takers. I believe, look, you know what? I've been in these circles for a long time, been doing this for a long time, and I believe you guys are a little bit better than the average circle, but let's just say that the average circle, 1/3 of the people in there take action, okay? So that means that there's 100 of you that will start a podcast. Now, I want you to think of how powerful it is for our network to automatically have 100 podcasters in there. You've already got 200 other people that you can interview, that you can get to share, that you can cross-promote other people's podcasts. I've been on Josh's podcast. He's been on my podcast. I've been on a bunch of other people's podcasts that have been on my, then all of a sudden we are creating those power moves within our community, and it's our secret. right? Like, damn, how you get featured on all those podcasts? It's our community, not ours as in me, Daniel, and Josh's. Our community as in us as a whole, the whole entire campfire, the whole Overdrive community, right? And so think about that. Just if 1/3 of you guys take action, which I'm leading, Josh is leading. He's got the Dropout degree. I've got the Hardcore Closer and the Rewire podcast, right? We're leading the way on this. But let's just say 1/3 of you take off and do this, and we have 100 podcasters in our network overnight. How fucking powerful are we all of a sudden? Right? Let's say that we ride together and you guys consistently, just 100. We're going to grow this thing to 50 fucking thousand, 50 million people at one point, right? Like this thing, we're in this all the way in. But just think if 1/3, let's say we have 1,000 people in and 1/3 of the people, now all of a sudden we have 333 people in our network that are podcasters. Let's say we have 10,000. Now all of a sudden we have 3,000 podcasters in our network. We become a fucking powerful machine just in ourselves. So I want you guys to be thinking one of two things. Either you're an action taker and you're going to be the person that moves the needle in this community with what we're doing, or how you can help and be a supporter of the people that are action takers and needle movers in this community, because we're going to need both. We're going to need people that support the massive blind action takers, and we're going to need the massive action takers are going to need people to help them out as well. And we're going to need massive action takers more than anything.
Like that, yeah. For the people here that actually totally forgot, for some of the people here that don't know what campfire is, it's a term we all came up with, and I want to explain it to you guys just before we wrap up here. Because maybe a lot of you guys seen, yeah, win-win situation. That's so fucking powerful. What's up, y'all? That's so freaking good. Good. I'm excited you guys got a lot of value out of this. So a lot of you guys seen myself, Ryan, and Josh posting campfire, XXX. So what campfire really is, sort of like a culture word. So I'm going to explain this to you guys so you guys can visualize it really well. Think of everybody being around a campfire, and it's warm. And what do you have going around a campfire? You got people playing music, and you got a lot of stories being shared, personal stories, life stories, jokes happening. And you got 10, 20 people around this campfire. And typically, where's a campfire being held? Campfire is usually in a forest, in the woods. And imagine one of the guys or girls, Sally, gets up and she's like, hey guys, I got to go take a pee in the woods. So she gets up and she goes to leave. All the stories are still going on. People are spreading stories. Jonathan is telling everybody a personal story about his life, and he's sharing the story. Sally gets up to go piss. 2-minute walk away from the woods. It's dark outside. As she leaves, she starts getting colder. Everybody's staying warm around the campfire. She leaves. She goes take a piss. Now it's dark. She's done taking her piss. She looks left, right. She's like, shit, where's the campfire? I kind of forget. So it's taken a while for her to come back. She kind of gets lost in all these conversations that's happening, these deep conversations. Then finally, somehow, maybe 20 minutes later, she comes back, and Jonathan, or whoever explaining the story, he's already 30 minutes into this story, and they're all discussing it, and she comes in, and she's lost in this conversation. And now Sally wants to put in her 2 cents. She's like, no, but that's not right. I think it's like this, and this. And everybody's looking at her saying, first of all, she's freezing as hell. She gets back to the fire. She's cold. And she hears somebody saying the last tip of the iceberg in the conversation. She hears a concept. She disagrees with them. And they're like, wait, you haven't been here for 20 minutes. You missed out on the whole story. This is the whole back end of the story. And she's like, oh, wow, that makes sense. So we developed this whole concept one day where we're like, you have to stay warm by the campfire, or you're going to miss out. You have to stay warm by the campfire. You have to stay warm by the campfire. You leave the campfire, you're going to get cold. And what does that mean? It basically means our culture. It basically means the campfire is every team call. The campfire is every live call. The campfire is every in-person meeting. And the moment you don't show up to one of your own sales team calls, one of Overdrive 24/7 team's calls, one of X's team calls, one of our in-person masterminds, right? You're going to say, well, oh, that doesn't make sense. And we're going to say, hey, you weren't by the fucking campfire. The campfire are the live calls. The campfire, again, are the live streams and the in-person meetups. That's the freaking campfire. So the next time somebody comes up to Josh, myself, and Ryan, and they say, hey, man, that doesn't make sense. The first thing we're going to say is, we know it doesn't make sense. It's because you're fucking cold and you weren't at the campfire. When one of my sales guys comes up to me and Josh and Ryan, and they say, man, do you mind doing the meeting again? Do you mind re-saying it again? No, you weren't by the freaking campfire. you're cold. You're going to have to find it from somebody else. So our whole thing is keep the fire going. So I'm introducing everybody on this group that's watching this, and for the thousands of people that are going to watch this replay next week, next month, next year, you guys are part of the campfire. But the only way, and trust me, myself, Josh, and Ryan have a fucking list that are real riders in the campfire. We know we're going through the data every single week. There are people that are showing up to our e-commerce calls, our sales calls, our overdrive calls, our in-person masterminds, and we'll fucking boot you out if we feel like you guys just been slacking, right? So
we want an elite network. We're not just here to, like, we can't rich off for $24. We're trying to really create an elite network to where we can do bigger things than just this little $24, right?
Right, exactly. So just so you guys know, that's what the campfire is. So when we post campfire, that's our community. We made up. You guys are part of the fucking campfire. Keep it strong, whether it's with us, whether it's in your own company right now, whether you have even if you have a company and you have sales guys within your company, you have marketing people within your company, keep the fucking campfire warm, keep it hot, keep people around it. And we'll literally, actually, it's funny that we're explaining this, at least once every 2 months, we're actually going to have campfire trainings and campfire meetups, which is going to be beside a campfire because we always keep it warm. So you'll see Josh has a campfire in the backyard, and we'll always be keeping that fucking shit lit. So hopefully, thanks Ryan for coming on here and dropping some nuggets about power moves. I appreciate you, homie. And hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. But if you guys want to share what you guys done towards the end of the week, whether you guys started a podcast, we want to know. So you could post it in the group. Whether you start a podcast, whether you already started reaching out and getting some PR done on you, whatever the case is, we want to know what you guys done. Number one. Number two, every time, keep burning. That's it. And we need to keep the campfire warm, and we need to introduce people. So this is the last thing. Every time somebody signs up in that Facebook group, I want every single fucking person on this call, no matter what, every single time. If Marissa, myself, Shun, which is our COO, if Shun posts 10 new members every single day in the group and he reposts them in Facebook, I want everybody to welcome that person or those people into the campfire. Give them a warm welcome. Okay, this is like home. Everybody welcome them. This is about interaction. Another thing is, not only you guys are taking a benefit away from all these live calls we're going to have bi-weekly and the bonus we're going to add to the platform. The last thing is, and I know Ryan touched on this, you guys have so many fucking diverse people in this group that you can already start networking with. Whether you want them on your podcast, go through them, go through their profiles, find them on Instagram, start networking with them. Guys, we're going to bring in tens of thousands of people. By the end of July, I can guarantee there's going to be 10,000 people at minimum on this platform, full of like-minded entrepreneurs that are in different freaking industries. Why are you going to fucking post on Facebook if you need a Facebook marketer? I bet you there's going to be 10, 20 solid elite Facebook marketers in this group. Why post on Facebook or Instagram, hey, man, I need somebody doing my e-commerce. I guarantee you there's going to be 10 motherfuckers here that have crushed 6 to 7 figures in e-commerce. Maybe people that are executive assistants. So utilize the network. Obviously, you have myself, Shun, and Josh as well. Last thing to wrap it up, if you guys have any single questions, the beautiful thing about this is we actually have dedicated concierge and account managers to you guys. So you guys are actually going to be getting a call within the next 24 to 48 hours. We've literally hired over 40 account managers to work directly underneath our campfire to support you guys. So you guys should be expecting a call, any updates. So they'll support you guys on anything. And if you want any immediate responses, they're actually going to give you full access to their cell phone number. Like, what other fucking community is going to dedicate you an account manager that's going to give you full access to their cell phone so you can hit them up at any time? They'll have the boundary set. You guys can get personal with them. The last thing is, you guys might want to write this email down. His name is Shun. Shun is our Chief Operating Officer. So if you guys want to write it down, it's shun@acceleratorleague.com. You guys can message him any questions you guys have about the live calls, schedules, anything like this. He'll be updating you guys. Please keep checking your email. Turn your Facebook notifications on. And then until next week, guys, fucking smash it. Make some power moves. Ryan, thanks again for coming on, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later, everybody.
See you guys.